Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something. Ladies, I know this has been burning in your minds. If he craves me, why is he silent? Now listen, I know that question can hit hard because you're sitting there thinking, if he wants me, why ain't he saying nothing? It don't make sense, right? You're giving all this energy, all this love, all this attention, and yet he's quiet as a mouse. And that silence, oh, it'll have you questioning everything. But let me tell you, silence doesn't always mean what you think it means. You see, a man might crave you, feel you in his heart, but be silent for a number of reasons. Sometimes that silence ain't because he's not into you, but because he's trying to figure it out. A lot of times we're trying to get our own stuff in order. When a man is craving someone but stays silent, he might be uncertain about how to proceed, about what his next step is. It ain't that he's not interested, it's just that he's got his own inner conflict, and for us men, that conflict might not always be easy to talk about. We've got a lot of pride, a lot of things we're working through. Now, that doesn't mean you need to sit there waiting for him to figure it out. You've got your own life to live. But what I'm telling you is sometimes we need space to figure out if we're ready to be everything you need us to be. And sometimes that silence is us trying to process whether we're in the right place, emotionally, mentally, financially, or even spiritually. Sometimes we crave something but don't know how to offer it back in a way that does justice to what we feel. It's not a rejection, it's a hesitation. And let me tell you something else. A man who truly craves you but stays silent might be intimidated. I know. You're thinking, intimidated by me? But yes, that's right. Some men get so wrapped up in how much they admire you, how much they want to be with you, that they actually freeze up. It's almost like they're afraid of not being enough for you, of disappointing you, or not living up to the expectations they've created in their own mind. That kind of pressure can leave a man silent because he doesn't want to mess things up. Think about it. When a man craves you, it's not just about attraction or wanting something physical. It's deeper than that. He's thinking about your future together, your lives entwined. And when a man starts thinking about the what ifs, what's next, and all the things he has to do to be worthy of you, it can leave him in his head paralyzed by the fear of making a move and getting it wrong. Instead of talking about it, he goes quiet, not because he doesn't care, but because he's too busy thinking about how to do it right. But here's the catch. If this silence goes on too long, it starts to feel like something else, doesn't it? It starts to feel like he's pulling away, like he's not interested anymore. And this is where things get tricky. See, some men are silent because they don't know how to step up and say what they really feel. And then there are other men who are silent because they're comfortable in that space. They want something from you. They crave your attention, your love, your energy, but they're not willing to put in the work to show you that they're worth your time. This silence isn't a sign of admiration anymore. It's a sign of a lack of effort. So if he craves you but stays silent, ask yourself, is this man truly invested, or is he just comfortable with the idea of having someone like you around without taking the steps to really make something of it? When a man stays silent too long, it may not be about him processing or figuring things out. It could be a sign that he's just not ready to commit to the kind of effort that a relationship requires. Let me tell you something. A man who truly craves you won't let fear or pride keep him quiet for too long. He'll find a way to speak up. Real men, the ones who are really serious about you, won't stay in the shadows of silence hoping you'll just understand. They'll communicate, they'll act, they'll show you that they want you, that they value you, that they are willing to put in the effort it takes to make something real out of this. Silence is not always an answer. It's just a delay in figuring out the solution. And I know it's tough when you feel like you're giving your all and he's sitting there quiet. You start to doubt yourself. Is there something wrong with me? What's wrong with him? But I want you to remember this. Silence doesn't equal rejection. It doesn't mean you're not worthy of his time. What it really means is that he's either too afraid to show up for you in the right way, or he's not sure how to move forward. But that's his problem, not yours. Your worth doesn't fluctuate based on his actions. You're still that queen, no matter how quiet he gets. Now, let me hit you with this. If he's craving you but stays silent because he's trying to work things out, that's one thing. If he's craving you and stays silent because he doesn't want to do the work, that's a whole different issue. You need to ask yourself, do you want to spend your time with someone who is too scared to speak up, or do you want to be with someone who is ready to show you the love, respect, and communication you deserve? You deserve a man who is bold enough to speak up, to let you know what he's feeling, to chase you with intention, not just desire. If his silence is leaving you confused and uncertain, then maybe it's time to ask yourself, is this man really showing up for me the way I need him to? Is he giving me the emotional investment I deserve? Or is he just craving me when it's convenient for him and staying quiet when it's time to act? You deserve someone who craves you, not only in silence, but also in their actions, in their words, and in their willingness to invest time and effort into building something real with you. Craving is only part of the equation. Action, effort, and communication are the things that show a man is serious. And ladies, you've got to remember, when a man craves you but stays silent, it's not your responsibility to figure him out. You're not a puzzle that needs solving. You are a woman who deserves to be understood, cherished, and heard. If he's silent, he's got to come out of that silence and step up to the plate. And if he doesn't, well, then you've got to keep moving forward, because your time and energy are too valuable to be spent wondering why someone isn't showing up for you the way they should. So if he craves you and is silent, don't be afraid to ask the tough questions. Don't be afraid to walk away if he's not willing to show you the love you deserve. You are worth every word, every effort, and every bit of energy. A real man knows that, and he'll let you know it too. A craving without communication is a red flag, not a love language. Let me say that again for the folks in the back. Craving you but not talking to you, that's not romantic. That's a red flag, and we need to stop dressing it up like it's something beautiful when it's really just confusion in disguise. See, ladies, you've been conditioned to think that silence is mysterious, that maybe he's just brooding deep, thinking about you day and night, but doesn't know how to say it. And listen, I'll give you that. Sometimes, sure, a man may not be good with words, but we're grown now. This ain't high school. This is grown folks' business. And in grown love, silence doesn't build relationships. Communication does. If a man craves you and says nothing, what are you supposed to do with that? Are you supposed to read his mind? Are you supposed to wait around hoping one day he gets the courage to say what he feels? Come on now, love doesn't work on maybes. It works on effort. It works on consistency. And more importantly, it works on communication. Let me give it to you straight. If he's out here craving you in the dark in his own little fantasy, but he ain't bringing none of that desire to the surface, what you have is a silent admirer, not a man building a connection. That's like saying you're hungry and never getting up to cook or order food. Hunger without action, that's just suffering. And I know some people will say, but Steve, some men just aren't expressive. They show love in other ways. Okay, I hear that. But I'm not talking about Shakespearean poetry or big, long speeches. I'm talking about basic communication, picking up the phone, responding to text, letting you know where his mind is, making plans, checking in. If he can't even give you that, then what is he giving you? Because silence is not affection. It's not effort. It's not clarity. It's not leadership. Silence is what you get when someone is unsure, unavailable, or uninterested. Or sometimes when they're getting everything they want without giving anything back. Craving without communication becomes emotional freeloading. He gets the benefit of you thinking about him, hoping for him, checking your phone for his messages, reading his silence like it's some kind of hidden code, while he does absolutely nothing to give you peace of mind. That's not craving, that's convenience. Now let me tell you something about men. When a man truly wants a woman, he's not going to sit in silence for long. Even if he's awkward, even if he's shy, if he's serious about you, he'll find a way. You think a man won't learn how to communicate when he knows he's about to lose a good thing? Oh, trust me, we learn quick. We learn how to speak up. We learn how to show up. We learn how to act right. Don't let anybody convince you that communication is too much to ask. That's bare minimum behavior in any relationship. That's not a bonus. That's not extra credit. That's standard. If a man can post on Instagram, laugh with his boys, scroll TikTok, or talk about the game for 3 hours, he can find 10 minutes to let you know where his heart is. Silence ain't about inability, it's about priority. And let's flip the script for a second. If you were the one craving a man but stayed silent, what would people say? They tell you, girl, speak up or let him go. They tell you not to expect someone to wait around for you to find your words. So why are you letting him do that to you? And here's the real kicker. Craving is not the same as commitment. Just because a man craves you doesn't mean he's going to treat you right. A man can crave your body, your energy, your attention, and still never plan a future with you, still never respect you, still never prioritize you. You know why? Because craving is a feeling. It's instinctual. It don't take no work. But communication, that takes effort. That takes intentionality. That takes maturity. So if all he's offering is feelings and no words, then that's not a man building something real. That's a man camping out in your space without paying rent. That's a man enjoying access to you without investing in you. And you're not a hotel, you're a home. You're not temporary comfort. You are worth building with. Don't let that craving fool you into thinking it's love. Love has a voice. Love speaks. Love shows up. Love answers your questions, not creates more of them. And I get it. Sometimes his silence can feel intense, like it means something deep, like maybe he's struggling or he's dealing with something personal. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be compassionate, but there's a line. There's a point where your compassion turns into enabling, where your patience turns into pain, and you can't let that happen. You can care about someone and still require that they treat you right. You can understand someone's silence and still not accept it as enough. Because here's the deal. If he truly wants you, he'll work on his communication. He'll push past the fear. He'll figure it out. He won't risk losing you just to protect his pride. And if he doesn't, then maybe he's not craving you, he's craving the idea of you. And that ain't the same thing. You deserve someone who's not just dreaming about you, but building with you. You deserve someone who communicates, who shows up, who matches your energy, who doesn't leave you wondering where you stand. Who doesn't make you beg for clarity? Because clarity is love. Confusion is not. So don't romanticize the man who's silent. Pay attention to the one who speaks life into you, who's consistent, who's present, who doesn't just want you in theory, but in practice, in reality, every single day. And that, my friend, is the difference between a man who craves you and a man who's ready for you. Let me tell you something that's going to sting a little, but it's the truth. A man who truly wants you won't risk losing you. Period. That's it. That's the message. And if he's sitting in silence while you wait, wonder, and worry, then baby, he's either not ready, not serious, or he thinks you'll always be there. And none of those are good enough for the woman you are. Let's break it down. When a man knows what he wants, he goes after it. We don't play games with what we value. We don't go quiet on things we care about. You ever seen a man who wants a new job? He updates his resume, shows up early to the interview, sells himself, and follows up. You ever seen a man who wants tickets to the game? He'll wait in line, set reminders, call people, whatever it takes. So don't let anybody tell you that silence is just a phase or personality trait. Because when we want something bad enough, we speak up. And when we want someone bad enough, we show up. If he's craving you but choosing to stay silent, that's not romance, that's recklessness. That means he's okay with the idea that someone else might come in and treat you right. He's comfortable with the thought that you might move on, that another man might hear what he's ignoring. That's not love, that's arrogance. See, silence isn't always shyness. Sometimes it's strategy. Some men stay quiet to keep their options open. They want you to stick around just in case. They want to keep you on the hook without committing, just in case nothing better comes along. That way, they don't lose you, but they don't have to step up either. It's a selfish game of emotional tag, and you're always it. But let me ask you, do you really want a man who treats you like a backup plan, like a maybe, like a rainy day option he can revisit when it's convenient? Or do you want a man who makes it known without question that you're what he wants, that he's all in and he's not afraid to say it? Listen, love is not quiet when it's real. It may start slow, but when it's genuine, it grows loud. Not in noise, but in effort, in actions, in consistency. It doesn't hide behind mixed signals. It doesn't leave you confused. A man who's serious about you will make sure you know it, not just hope you feel it. Now, I know what some of y'all are thinking. Maybe he's scared. Maybe he doesn't know how to express himself. And that could be true. But here's the deal. His fear doesn't get to be your prison. You don't put your life on pause because he's emotionally stuck. You don't hold yourself hostage waiting for him to grow. Growth is a choice, healing is a journey, and communication is a skill every adult should work on. If he's not doing that work, then you have to ask, is he really trying? Because here's something else to remember. A man who's serious about you will protect his place in your life. He won't let days go by without checking in. He won't disappear when things get emotional. He won't run silent when you need answers. Why? Because he knows silence leaves room for doubt. And when you love someone, you don't leave them in the dark. You don't risk losing their trust. You don't risk losing their heart. And you know what else? He won't let another man step in. A real man will never leave enough silence for another voice to speak louder than his. If he wants you, he's going to say so. Because letting someone else have you while he watches from the shadows, that's not love, that's cowardice. See, we live in a world full of people who think energy is enough, that if they just feel something, it should count. But energy without clarity is just chaos. You can't build a relationship on vibes. You build it on communication, on honesty, on real conversations, even the uncomfortable ones. And ladies, I need you to stop mistaking your worth for someone else's indecision. His silence is not a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of his unreadiness. Don't tie your self-esteem to a man's inability to speak up. You are not a waiting room. You are not a placeholder. You are not a someday. You are a right now woman, and the right man will treat you like it. I'll say it again. A man who wants you will not stay silent. He'll call, he'll text, he'll ask questions, he'll check in, he'll fight for you. He'll make his intentions known not just once, but consistently. You won't have to decode mixed signals or read between the lines. You won't have to ask your girls what he really meant when he sent that vague message. You won't have to wonder if he's thinking about you. You'll know, because love leaves evidence. Real effort leaves a trail. You won't be confused when it's real. You'll feel secure. So if he's craving you but going silent, ask yourself, what am I really holding on to? Is it the man himself, or is it the idea of him? The fantasy that maybe one day he'll turn around and see what you've known all along, that you're the best thing that's ever happened to him. But here's the thing. Maybe you are the best thing that's ever happened to him. But if he's too silent to say it, too prideful to show it, too passive to prove it, then he's not ready for you. And that's not your loss, that's his. Because the man who truly wants you won't just crave you in silence. He'll pursue you with words, with actions, and with heart. And that right there is the difference between thinking about you and actually choosing you. Let's talk about the emotional walls men build. And I'm not just talking about being quiet. I'm talking about that deep, thick silence that keeps you guessing, keeps you anxious, keeps you stuck, wondering, what did I do wrong? Does he care? Why won't he just say something? Here's the truth. Men are taught to hide. From a young age, most men are told things like, man up, don't cry, be tough, keep it moving. So instead of learning how to express our feelings, we learn how to suppress them. And when that man grows up and finds a woman he actually feels something real for, he panics. His heart is saying one thing, but his training, his ego, and sometimes even his trauma are saying something completely different. Don't be vulnerable. So now you've got a man who craves you, who wants you, who thinks about you all the time, but instead of telling you, he goes quiet. He disappears. He starts to pull back. And not because he doesn't care, but because he doesn't know how to handle what he's feeling. Let me paint the picture for you. A man who's emotionally unavailable might look calm on the outside, cool, collected, maybe even a little distant. But inside, there's a whole storm going on. His heart is racing, his mind is spinning, and the closer you get to breaking through, the more he shuts down. It ain't about you. It's about him, his fears, his doubts, his control issues. Maybe he's been hurt before. Maybe he never saw a healthy relationship growing up. Maybe nobody ever taught him how to let someone in without losing himself. But hear me on this. It is not your job to heal a man who refuses to grow. Love isn't about fixing someone. It's about choosing each other, growing together, and being brave enough to say what's real. If he's craving you but hiding behind silence, that's emotional immaturity. That's fear dressed up as distance. And baby, if you keep waiting for him to be ready without any signs of change, you're going to waste years of your life waiting on potential. Potential doesn't love you back. Silence doesn't build relationships. And unspoken emotions don't create clarity. They just create confusion. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Closed mouths don't get fed. And closed hearts don't build lasting love. If he's so afraid of being vulnerable that he can't even speak to you, then he's not ready to love on your level. And you need to love yourself enough to step back and say, until you're ready to show up, I'm done showing up for both of them. Now, some women try to overcompensate. They text more, they check in more, they try to understand him, to be patient, to give him time. And sometimes, yes, a little space can help a man work through his emotions. But if space turns into silence, if patience turns into pain, and if you feel like you're doing all the emotional lifting, that's not love. That's imbalance. A relationship is not 90/10. It's not 100/0. It's not you throwing lifelines to a man who won't even throw a text. It's two people both fighting for each other, both communicating, both working through their stuff together. So if he's craving you but staying silent, I want you to ask yourself, is he making any effort to meet me halfway? Does he shut down every time things get real? Am I spending more time guessing than knowing? Because here's what I know about real love. It's not silent. It's not hidden. It's not afraid. It's honest. It's open. It might be messy. It might take time, but it's not built on walls, games, and ghosting. Emotional availability doesn't mean he's perfect. It means he's present. He may not have all the answers, but he's willing to try, willing to talk, willing to be seen, willing to show up for you even when it's hard. And if he's not doing that, then you have to let go of the idea of who he could be and accept who he's choosing to be right now. You deserve a man who speaks from the heart, who isn't scared to tell you he needs you, who doesn't let pride or fear get in the way of connection. You deserve consistency, not confusion, clarity, not chaos. And remember this, just because he craves you in silence doesn't mean he respects you in action. Wanting you isn't enough. Craving you isn't enough. Loving you means stepping up, showing up, speaking up. Anything less, that's just noise. You are not meant to sit in silence, waiting for a man to wake up and choose you. You are meant to live fully, love boldly, and be with someone who's emotionally there, not hiding behind fear and excuses. So if he craves you but stays silent, let that silence be the answer, and choose peace over potential every single time.